Welcome to the DY Prods channel. I'm your guy, DY Fly, and what in the hell is going on here? I go away for a little bit, and all hell is breaking loose. You know, on Twitter, you got Eagles fans going against Eagles fans. They've turned on each other. You've got Eagles content creators going at Eagles content creators. It's nasty work out here. Yeah, man. Our team is playing that bad when we should be, collectively going at these other teams. We're going at each other internally. That's how bad our team is playing. Giving up a 21-point lead against the Cowboys. And then getting our teeth kicked in by the Bears in our backyard, and they beat us with our own style. Run the ball, play good defense, and then run the ball some more. They look bad out there. And the thing about the Bears game is, in the first quarter, they looked like they didn't even want to be there. The players looked like they didn't want to be there, which that's what hurt me the most. But I'm going to tell you why I still believe in this team and why I haven't given up on this team just yet. And number two, I'm going to play a clip that I thought kind of perked my ears up. We've heard a whole bunch of narratives about Jalen over the past couple years, but this is something that I just heard for the first time, and I think you should listen to it too. So I'm going to play that clip for you. But Kevin Patullo, his house got egged. His house was vandalized with eggs early Saturday morning. Morristown police confirmed. Listen, I want the man to be fired, okay? I don't want his house to be vandalized. I don't want the safety of his family to be compromised or the well-being of his family to be compromised and to be worried about, and his property and all that jazz, okay? That's just uncouth behavior. But two things I do know, all right? One, egging a house. That is definitely some white people shit, okay? White people, you got to own this. You got to own it. That is a white person's pastime. Egging a house is definitely a white person's pastime. So, once the police, they start doing their investigation, you can eliminate the black population. That's number one. Number two is the man can't do his job properly without thinking about the safety of his family, okay? So now you add this on top, you idiots. Now he has to think about getting this offense right for the rest of the season so we can make a playoff run and a Super Bowl run. And he's got to worry about the safety of his family. Dummies. Do you know you just put more on this man's plate than he can handle? Okay? And the thing about Kevin Patullo, this is why he should be fired. If you've listened to his press conferences over the season, you have noticed that he has not taken accountability once. He's always stuck to his guns and said, as long as we execute, then we should be moving the ball just fine. Okay? Now, in so many words, he has told us if he gets behind the sticks, he does not have a play to get us out of that hole. That's what he has told us over the whole season. And that's why I think he should be fired. Okay? A good play caller always has an ace in the hole, a bread and butter play to really get the offense out of a jam in case they need it. All right? That's why I think he should be fired. And Nick has already come out and said that Kevin Patullo, he's going to remain the play caller, which is crazy. Why Nick wants to die on this hill, I don't know. But if this is the case, Nick needs to go too. Nick needs to be fired. If Jeffrey and Howie's going to allow this to go on for the rest of the season, Nick needs to go. And I've defended Nick. And again, I'm going to explain why I still believe in this team. Just a little bit. Now, for me, there's a question on whether or not the demotion should be public or not. Whether they give the reins to somebody else quietly or publicly. Now, at this point of the season, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I don't think it matters as long as they make a change. But at the same time, the promotion was public, and it tells me as a consumer, right, that the team, they see a change that needs to be made, and they're addressing the change that needs to be made. And that whether it goes to shit or not, they see the problem and they're trying to address it. Now, we can't be mad at that if they do decide to make a change. So why Nick wants to die on this hill, I'm not sure, but we're going to see if they change play callers or not. We know it needs to happen. For everybody that's saying that Jalen is the problem and Tanner McKee needs to start, I want to see this offense with Tanner McKee. The offensive line can't block. We've seen the highlights, or I guess the lowlights, of the offensive line getting blown up. Jordan Mailata, I don't know what happened. He lost his superpower. He looks like when the Monstars took their power and put it in the basketball, and Charles Barkley's like, I can't dunk no more. That's what Jordan Mailata looks like. We know Landon Dickerson is hurt. Cam Jurgens is hurt. The right guard is just whatever. And then Lane Johnson, he's been in and out of the lineup. Fred Johnson, he's doing his best, okay? So the offensive line isn't to be trusted, but this is why I hold 2023 in high regard. It's because I know Jalen can carry the team on his back. But if this is a lesser version of that team, then what makes you think that Tanner McKee can carry this team? Or there would be some sort of change because he can get the ball quick out of his hands? Whatever, man. Whatever. He can't do half the stuff that Jalen can do. All right? If the play breaks down, which it's shown that it's going to over the course of this season, is Tanner McKee going to run? Is he going to run for a first down? Huh? Man, stop, man. Is he going to extend the play with his legs and wait for one of these receivers to get open? And back to the point about Kevin Patullo not being able to work off script or getting behind the sticks, that makes Jalen's margin of error that much smaller. You know, he basically has to play flawless football for us to succeed. That's not realistic, man. That's not realistic. And this is why you have to be careful if you are a Jalen Hurts supporter, because you have to be careful on what platform you say that on. You know, it's cool if you say it on your platform, but if you go on the internet's platform, such as Twitter, and you say, yeah, Jalen had a bad game and blah, blah, blah. If you admit that to the wrong people, then, you know, that's their chance to say, see, even you agree with me. Even you agree that Jalen's a bad quarterback or whatever. And it's like, nah, that's not what I said. They'll twist your words and try to use your words against you to say that Jalen's a bad quarterback. So you have to be careful on what space you say that around. I don't, you know, unless it's this space, I'm not going on Twitter saying, you know, Jalen had a bad game. And if I do say that Jalen had a bad game, I'm going to say two sentences. Jalen had a bad game. He needs to play better and keep it pushing. You know why? Because I haven't seen a Baldy's breakdown of him, of Matt Stafford and his epic 3 turnover day, his 2 interceptions, a pick 6 on top of that, turnover in the red zone. I haven't seen a Baldy's breakdown on that talking about the quarterback had time. It seemed like he had time to throw the ball and deliver it where it's supposed to be. Man, shut up.
Shut your raggedy ass up and sit the fuck down.
It seems like those videos dropped before the clock strikes 0 on Jalen. Huh? Tell me I'm lying. But we still haven't gotten one on Matt Stafford. Baldy. I've tried not to say names this year, but I'm getting tired of a lot of people. You know that? I'm getting tired of that. And speaking of narratives around Jalen Hurts, Bear Brooks said something that is kind of important and I think should be highlighted in the midst of all this. So let's take a listen to what Bear Brooks had to say.
Find out if we really have good coaches and creative coaches.
Well, you know, we know Coach Stoutland doesn't like to run motions and things of that nature because once you bring somebody and you cross where the center is and you go to the other side, it changes how the offensive line calls their offense. So they don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable. I don't care about you being uncomfortable anymore. You got to do whatever it takes to win.
Now, for the past couple years, all I've heard is Jalen doesn't like motion. Jalen doesn't like being under center. Jalen doesn't like this or that, you know? But I haven't heard that Jeff Stoutland also does not like motion because it messes with the alignment of the offensive line. So if that's the case, why isn't that getting highlighted just as much as Jalen's deficiencies? We know there's enough blame to go around for everybody. But I'm just saying, let's be fair about it. Let's be fair about it. Jeff Stoutland is the run game coordinator. So if that's the case, how come the run game stinks so bad? Stinking up the joint. We thought that you can send a dead body, just cold and lifeless, to Stoutland University and they'd become a all-pro, at least a Pro Bowler, right? Or they'd be serviceable to protect the quarterback, at the very least. So if Stoutland is the run game coordinator and the run game stinks as much as it does, now I'm on record to saying Saquon, he ain't what he was last year, right? But at the same time, there's lowlights of the offensive line not playing up to snuff. Look, man, Jeff Stoutland, he needs some of this blame too. I'm not saying he needs to be fired. I'm just saying let's spread out some of the blame. Let's spread it out. And the reason why I'm still confident or I'm not giving up on this team, I'm not saying I'm confident, but listen, if you decide to get off this train, if you don't believe in this team and the fact that they might turn it around, I completely understand, okay? They have not given us much to be enthused or positive about going into the future. But I am here to say that I've watched too much football, and things can change within a week. It can change. You see it right in front of us. We are in third place right now. The number 1 seed for the NFC is still up for grabs. And, as a person in real life, when I see a sinking ship, it's starting to sink, yeah, I'm getting off that ship. All right? I'm getting off that ship. But I look around the landscape and, I see these other ships. They have holes in them. You see the Rams? It's kind of leaky. They're kind of leaky, and we beat them. The Bucks, they got a hole in their ship, and we beat them. And Tampa, that demon's put behind us, right? Seattle, it's a good record, but they still got Sam Darnold as their quarterback. That's a hole in the ship. The Packers, we already beat them. That's a hole. They got Jordan Love. He's still gonna be throwing up them lollipops. That's a hole in the ship. San Francisco, they trying to resurrect from the grave. We need to bury him again, huh? Throw some Skittles on top of their grave, right? Their schedule's been soft. Is whatever. The Lions, we already beat them, and even the Bears, right? They got a good record, 9-3. I'm not going to poo-poo that, but at the same time, when all the chips are down, we can even play this game with the cards faced up. You going to put your bet on us, or you going to put your bet on them, right? I'm still taking us. So I just want to see how it plays out. I just want to see how all this plays out. If we can last the longest, then, hey, we can make it back to the Super Bowl, but it can change within a week. I've seen too much football, man. I remember back whenever the Colts won their first Super Bowl, their defense stunk the whole season, okay? Their defense stunk the whole season. They were giving up like 400 yards a game until they made it to the playoffs. They got Bob Sanders back, and that one addition, he came back from injury, but that addition to their defense, they got enough stops to win a Super Bowl. And even that Tampa Bay Bucks team that Tom took to the Super Bowl, their defense was mid all season. All season. Even in the playoffs, they were mid, and they just happened to put it together in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, who, if you remember, they played the Chiefs earlier that season. And Tyreek Hill had 200 yards against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Not in just the game, in the first quarter. Tyreek Hill had 200 yards against a defense in one quarter. That's how bad the Bucks defense was. And they end up turning around. So, look, man, I just want to see how this thing plays out. I'm not giving up on this team, not just yet. The difference between the 2023 team and this team is this team has won a championship and that team had not, okay? So if you want to say that we're going to collapse and things are done, then okay, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with you, but at the same time, this team has a pedigree that they can tap into. They need to tap into. They need to look in the mirror and figure out if they want it or not. Because these other teams, it ain't it. Not for me. Not for me. I think we can outlast these other teams. We can find a way to win against these other teams. So we got the Chargers up next in SoFi. It's up in the air whether or not Justin Herbert is going to play or not. It's not ideal that we try to turn things around on the road, but you never know, man. You never know. And I'm not going to be picking against my team, not right now. So, I'm going to ride this thing out. I want to see how it turns out. I believe in Jalen Hitman Hurts.
The excellence of execution.
And just because some of y'all forgot, I'm going to send us out on the intro. I'm going to make the intro the outro, just to jog your memory, just to see where we came from. Even if we don't turn it around, you know what the slogan is. Go Birds. Run it.
You didn't want to give us nothing, so therefore we got to go take it. I don't need to say no more. Give me my darn theme music.